More on this and the other terror attack in Philly last night. Alan Colmes, host of the Alan Colmes Show, Fox News contributor, and David Webb, host of the David Webb Show, and also Fox News contributor. You know, just listening to Claudia's reports there, these are just two guys. But here we go again, the first two arrests of terror in the United States in 2016. The first guy, a Syrian refugee. And we've got this whole concern in our country right now about whether or not we should let them in. The second guy apparently lied on his United States application for citizenship. And Alan, we're still supposed to believe that all these refugees that come in are just going to keep this country safe.
Well, it's not all, but the point is you don't just shut down and put a dome over the country and shut down the country because there are going to be some people
Well, we got two guys right now in court.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
and they're lying.
Okay, so do we stop all refugees? Do we stop all...
But that's not what we're saying.
Just please finish. Do we stop all immigration? Do we just shut the doors to the entire country? Because there are always going to be lone wolves. We don't know whether these are lone wolves. We don't know, as Claudia said, whether they knew each other. We don't know a lot about who these people actually are. And until we do, I don't think we'd start making policy decisions.
But they're not really lone wolves, Alan.
Well,
I just said this in the last segment. Because the problem is when you add together a bunch of single acts, it's not a lone wolf anymore. And I think that's what's irritating to a lot of people in this country right now, is to pass it off, each and every one, as a lone wolf.
If you take the number of people who are doing this, you've got a very small percentage of people compared to the great number of people. And we're only talking about letting 10,000 Syrian refugees in.
10,000? Okay, guess what? The San Bernardino people killed 14 Americans. Go tell those American families that letting in one person didn't make a difference.
Alan, can I speak?
No, it's not. We just talked about two more guys in court.
First of all, security is not about numbers. Security is about process. Security is about the effect. There is no such thing as a lone wolf if you ascribe, for whatever reason, inspired in whatever manner by whatever group to commit the act. The act is. Can you let me finish? I let you finish.
Doesn't
I have a lot of time. And also, security is about the process. The vetting process, whether they lie initially or come here and get radicalized, is not complete, nor is it sufficient enough. It's not about 10,000. It's not about 20. It's about, do we have a process? ISIS has the ability to make identities, to make passports. They have offices in Raqqa, government offices that they take. Other groups have activities. They're working with cartels to create fake identities south of the border. We have to realize that security is not about the dome in of America. That's bull. Let's deal with the security issue of how we certify
Alan,
who's
here's
here.
what I don't understand is why is this a political issue? At the heart of the existence of this country, it's about keeping everyone safe. I don't get why do we have to disagree about keeping people safe?
How do we guarantee we're 100% safe?
I don't know, but that's what I'm asking.
Hold on, that's what we're talking about there. There is no guarantee in a free country that we're 100% safe.
The first way would be for the president to admit what the actual enemy is.
You know, let me use the president.
Wait. I want his response on
Hold on a second. What do you mean address what the actual enemy is? The president's been very clear because he doesn't use the word Islam, just like George W. Bush. Just like George W. Bush did not use the word Islam. This president's doing the same thing Bush did by not making this a religious war.
Gretchen, can I actually get in on this segment? First of all, let's apply the president's own logic. When he talks about guns and he says, if we could stop just, and I'm going to tear up, but I can't, one shooting, then why don't we try? Well, if we can use a vetting process that stops just one terrorist, then why wouldn't we? Alan likes to go to the hyperbole, and you just want to shut down the country, and you want to dome the country.
Give me the solution.
Let me finish. And what you want to talk about here is a vetting process, and if the vetting process doesn't exist, then what we do is we look at special...
There is a vetting process.
Let me finish.
There is a vetting process.
No, there isn't,
It didn't work.
Of course, that's not true.
Let us look at the special interest countries, the areas where people are coming from. Look at what happened in Germany on New Year's Eve. 1.1 million migrants, and you have multiple attacks across Germany by North African, by people coming out of the Middle East. You look at the culture, you look at what's coming over here. You identify it as best you can. You don't necessarily protect everybody, but you don't not do it.
Alan, we talked about the questions that people were asked for a fiancé visa when Tashfeen Malik was trying to come over here with her husband. The questions were ridiculous. They were, have you ever engaged in any terrorist activity? Have you ever thought about engaging in? Who the heck is going to say yes to that?
If we have better questions, let's propose them.
But
let the Republicans come up with a better sense of questions. By the way, what's really interesting is the minute some guy says ISIS, we assume he's involved with ISIS. We've got people taking over a federal building in Oregon. Isn't that terrorism?
Does it matter if as long as he says he was killing on behalf of radical Islam?
We don't know what the relationship is.
You know what? When you arrest a criminal and you say, why did you shoot your wife? Or why did you shoot your husband? Or why did you commit a robbery? They make a statement, and law enforcement and the prosecutor's office takes that statement and acts on it. He says he ascribed to ISIS. By the way, the question doesn't matter. The question is the question. Did you ever believe in jihad? It's a matter of, do you vet the person properly?
Correct.
DHS, Jay Johnson, said that they would not scrub social media because it might cause a backlash of bad view. Come on, let's deal with security as a process, Alan. Investigation, I've applied your logic, the president's logic. You still deny it.
Give me the better solution.
And by the way, here's a perfect example.
He's saying scrub social media.
Here's a perfect example. The mayor in Philadelphia gets up and says, it's not about Islam. Now, I'm telling you for a fact, because I have people working down there near this case, and I tweeted it out at 1:13, and we knew it this morning, that he had said in the interrogation room, he ascribed to this. The captain set up and said something. My point, the politicians are disconnected from the reality. Bernie Sanders, climate
this
change,
shouldn't be
terrorism,
political.
same
this
thing.
should not, I gotta go, but this should not be political. This should be about keeping America safe, and we should be able to work together to make sure we can do that.
If the Bundys said ISIS, would we then call it terrorism?
Yes,
domestic terrorism?
we would.
I say. Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good discussion.